Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to participate today in our Discover Rosewood webinar. My name is Berta Vargas, and I am one of the Global Sales Directors for Rosewood Hotels and Resorts. I look after our client relationship in Florida and Latin America and have the pleasure of moderating our webinar today. I'd like to introduce today's presenters to you. We have Paul Lee with Vancouver's most historic retreat, Rosewood Hotel, Georgia, followed by Brad Simmons with our newest Caribbean beach haven in Virgin Gorda, Rosewood Little Dix Bay, and last but not least, Claudia Chimenti with our countryside resort in the heart of Tuscany, Rosewood Castiglion del Bosco. I am happy to share with you that each property will present for 3 lucky winners present on our call, so I wish you all great luck. There are a few things I'd like to mention before we begin our call today, a few housekeeping items. All attendees are going to be placed on mute to avoid any noise interruption during each presentation, and we will have time at the end to answer any questions that you might have. As they come up, please feel free to include them in the chat box that you see on the right side panel, and we will be happy to address them at the end of the call. If we do not have an opportunity to address all questions, we will certainly follow up via email with those answers. So before we begin, I'd love to share briefly with you a few updates on Rosewood Hotels and Resorts. We've recently celebrated our 40th anniversary and can truly speak of how beautifully our brand has evolved and how each property lives up to the sense of place philosophy by reflecting the local culture in each hotel's design, food and beverage offerings, and curated experience that bring each destination to life. We work very hard together with you to personalize each guest experience to make sure that every guest has a memorable stay with us. There are no 2 hotels alike within our brand, as they each deliver a residential feel, making sure every guest feels at home with us. We currently have 28 hotels and resorts worldwide. In this map here, you can see our properties in the US, Canada, and Caribbean, as well as Mexico. We have some exciting openings coming up in the next 2 to 4 years to include our first property in South America, Rosewood, Sao Paulo, and first property in Hawaii. In addition to these openings, we've really dedicated resources to keep up to date our properties and have recently announced Rosewood Mayakoba's complete renovation, the mansion on Turtle Creek, and also the Carlisle, redesigned by Tony Chi. Our European collection is also growing with 5 new exciting openings in the coming years. And our Asia and Middle East collection, we've recently announced Rosewood Hotel in Yangon, Myanmar. And this is the region where you'll see the majority of future openings coming up. So with no further delay, I'd like to hand over to Paul, who will present on our Rosewood Hotel, Georgia.
Thank you, Berta, and welcome everybody to Rosewood's educational webinar series, where we start your journey today with the Rosewood Hotel, Georgia in Vancouver, BC, Canada. We are a recipient of the Forbes 5-Star Award for the past 8 years, and we're very proud to maintain that distinction for 2020. The Hotel Georgia is an iconic landmark in the city, which is built in 1927, and after a 4-year closure, we reopened in 2011 after an extensive multi-million-dollar renovation project. After the renovation, we completed with 156 rooms, 22 suites, and 4 different dining options on property. And as you can see, for those that are not familiar with Vancouver, we are 25 minutes away from the Vancouver International Airport and various attractions such as the Vancouver Art Gallery, Pacific Center Shopping, Robson Street, Canada Place, which is where the cruise ship the terminal is docked, Queen Elizabeth Theatre, Gastown, and Stanley Park. As you can see from this image, there's a very strong residential feel within the property. This is, of course, a working fireplace throughout the year in the lobby. 156 units overall, 22 suites, and the 4 restaurants and bars. We have some of the largest sized guest rooms in the city, averaging about 425 square feet. The rooms, as you can see, are comfortable, approachable, and a lot of the technology is very simple, and it's not a lot of complications to it. It's just something convenient for our customers who are frequent travelers of the cruise ship summer business. What is not pictured in this image is our 5-point bathroom with his and her vanity desk, a deep soaker tub, and rain shower. Our top 2 suites can accommodate families, obviously not pictured as well, that range from 2-bedroom configurations and 3-bedroom configurations. Our restaurants, I touched a little bit earlier. Hawksworth is our signature award-winning restaurant of over 10 years. David Hawksworth continues to be recognized as a top Vancouver chef in the city, and he also caters to the first-class passengers of Air Canada. Reflections is our seasonal patio, open April to September in the summer, which is popular with the locals and the leisure travelers. And our lobby lounge, which is pictured here, comfortably seats about 38 for lunch and dinner, and obviously drinks, and has a great and extensive cocktail menu. Our sense of spa with multiple spa treatment rooms, a 24-hour fitness center, and a large 52-foot saltwater lap pool completes the kind of wellness feel within the building. And for those that really want to come to Vancouver for that sense of adventure, you'll see here there are some great attractions in the city. They range from Stanley Park, Granville Island Public Market, the Museum of Anthropology for Culture, and a lot of outdoor activities. And you have this sense of hiking in the morning, and then possibly skiing in the afternoon, and taking an afternoon or evening stroll through some of the cultural attractions. And you'll see that here with the totems picture in the bottom left-hand corner. Or you can just simply relax and look out your window from a nearby area, not far away from the hotel, to just relax what was popular in Vancouver. That concludes the Rosewood journey through the city. I'm pleased to introduce, of course, Brad Simmons of Rosewood Little Dix Bay for your next experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That's very kind. Good afternoon. I have to say, I sit here in my suite in Little Dix Bay as we speak, looking at the ocean, looking at the palm trees, and it's so close, but I can't quite get to it. So it's a nice place to be doing the call. We're very delighted that Rosewood Little Dix Bay, after 4 years pretty much, opened its doors on January the 6th, and has really captured the original essence of the resort that dates back to 1964. So just to give you an idea of location, so based in the British Virgin Islands, this is a resort. It's just to the east of Puerto Rico, and for most people, the best way, and the way that I would certainly recommend to reach Little Dix Bay, is to go via Puerto Rico through San Juan. And then there's some good airlift from San Juan into the Tortola airport, also known as Beef Island, which is where we then do the meet and greet. As soon as you come out of arrivals, we take you through to our own Rosewood Little Dix Bay catamarans, and then a short little 20-minute boat ride that brings you right into the bay of the resort. And that's certainly the best and easiest route that I would suggest to take. So the resort itself, so after almost a 4-year closure, we have reopened this resort with 80 rooms, suites, beach houses and villas that all run along the half-a-mile beach. This is actually a 500-acre resort. We've also opened it with 4 restaurants and a wonderful bar called the Rum Room. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the accommodations in a second. So what we've done with the renovation is all of our accommodations have ocean view. They are literally on the beach, so you can actually get up in the mornings and within 30 seconds have your toes in the sand, and within less than a minute be in the bay and snorkeling with the turtles and in and around our reef. It is a true sense of what we would refer to as barefoot luxury, and really has the feel of being on a private island. The accommodation you're looking at on the screen here is one of our new categories, which is the 1-bedroom pool suites. But as I mentioned, we have rooms, which we refer to as cottages, a number of suites, 2 beach houses, and then up on the hilltop, we have a 4-bedroom villa known as Villa Joy that, although doesn't have direct access to the beach, has this beautiful elevated view over the whole 500 acres. It's pretty extraordinary. And as you can see, really has the sense of Rosewood, with that sense of place philosophy, with local curated books, trinkets, artwork. So you really get that sense of being in the Caribbean. So we wanted to do 3 major things with the redevelopment of this property. We really wanted to elevate the level of service, and as a result, we have put in place a 4 butler program across the whole resort. So when you arrive at Little Dix Bay, you will be welcomed by your butler, who then takes you through to your accommodation and does the check-in process for you, and is there to be there for anything you need during the duration of your stay. We also really wanted to capture the legacy of Lawrence Rockefeller, and really get that very 1960s kind of feel about the resort. It actually feels like you're stepping onto the set of an old Sean Connery James Bond movie, which is pretty special. And then the third thing really was food and beverage, really up the game within the Caribbean. And we've opened 3 incredible restaurants. The one that you're looking at here is the Pavilion. It's really got the money shot there, looking out into the bay. And this is a restaurant that the food is inspired by the cultures that have really influenced the Caribbean over the years. Indian, West Indian, African, some European influences. The Reef House, I don't have an image of, but the Reef House is actually the restaurant that sits at the dock. And that is a farm to fork concept. We have an incredible chef's garden that's really sourcing this. So very much locally produced food, our own grown herbs and salads and okra and fruits and so forth. And then the Sugar Mill is our international tapas restaurant. So all about local fish. We have a beautiful crustacean bar there. And actually, this is a really nice mix of being on the beach and being in the restaurant. So you really get that sense of place aspect. And then finally, we have the rum room as well. So as you can imagine, a lot of rum. We have 107 different types of rum from around the world. And also, being British, we have a great selection of gin, which I'm very happy about. A sense of wellness. We have one of the most unique spas in the world. It was an award-winning spa before we closed. It's actually set up on a cliff side, so it's elevated, overlooks the Sir Francis Drake Channel and the Dog Islands. And you, as you can see, you can have your treatment with the doors to the terrace opened up, so you can feel the breeze, hear the ocean, and all of our treatments are inspired by the environment that you're in. It's pretty extraordinary. We have an incredibly beautiful brand new fitness center that's got every kind of cardiovascular equipment that you can think of. We do yoga and Pilates classes. We actually do sunrise and sunset yoga. We have boxing training. We have 6 tennis courts, and then we also have 2 pickleball courts, which I'm still learning about, and then 2 outdoor swimming pools, one of which is an infinity pool that's based up in the spa. And you can also have a little lunch up there following your treatment as well. But I would certainly say our mind, body, and soul concept of this resort is very, very important. So we want people to eat, drink, have fun, but also keep fit and so on. And then finally, a sense of adventure. We certainly encourage people to come to the British Virgin Islands and enjoy what's in and around the island. Most of it is about being in or on the water. We have every water activity available to you that's not motorized, so diving, snorkeling, sailing, kayaking, paddle boarding. We do and will encourage to do little island hopping tours, or what we call island drops. We have access to 7 different islands where we can drop you off with a picnic and some champagne, and you can have a true private island experience. And then we have 2 hiking trails that are not quite open yet, but they will be opening very shortly. They can keep you fit, but also take you up to an elevated view over the islands. And then, of course, we will arrange to take you to Weddy Teas or Soggy Dollar for a local painkiller or 2, so you can really immerse yourself into the Caribbean way of life. So that's a little brief overview. I encourage you to come and visit, come and see Little Dix Bay. It's a beautiful piece of paradise, but a great opportunity for me now to pass you on to another paradise in Europe, and to Claudia in Castiglion del Bosco, which is one of my favorite properties. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Brad, and buonasera, everyone. Greetings from Italy. I am very, very pleased to be here today presenting you all our Tuscan gem, Rosewood Castiglion del Bosco, currently the only Rosewood hotel in Italy. As the name itself reveals, the property is set within a fairy Tuscan forest and around the ruins of a medieval castle and village from 1100 after Christ, which about over 15 years ago, Mr. Massimo and Miss Chiara Ferragamo turned into a place where to really spend quality time surrounded by friends and family, tasting great Tuscan food and enjoying our Brunello di Montalcino wine. And these are the values that stay within the property and that we embrace and try to preserve. Castiglion del Bosco, CDB as we call it, is a 5,000 acres private estate, which, as you can see from the map, is located in the heart of the Valdorcia Valley, just 15 minutes far from the village of Montalcino, 35 minutes far from Siena, 1 hour and 30 minutes far from Florence, and 2 hours and 30 minutes far from Rome, both of which are served by international airports. But let me mention that we do have an helipad on property for guests who wish to consider it, and that flying over the Tuscan countryside is actually an experience on its own. So speaking now a little bit about the property itself, CDB features at present 23 suites and 11 villas, but we are really happy to announce that from the 1st of July, this upcoming summer, we will have 19 additional suites facing the UNESCO-listed Valdorcia Valley, as well as the iconic Montalcino, with a new semi-Olympionic pool and as well a new category of suite called the Garden Suite, located on the ground floor and featuring a private garden. And all of the new suites have been equally furnished by Miss Chiara Ferragamo and by the interior designer Teresa Burcisser. Also, let me mention that all of our suites are located in the Borgo, which is the heart of the property, together with 3 of our 11 villas, while the remaining 8 are spread around the estate and really do guarantee the maximum privacy and tranquility, making the clients feel like they are in their private Tuscan mansion. And those very luxurious 18th century old farmhouse go from 3 to 6 bedrooms and feature large gardens with patios, BBQs, and pizza oven to enjoy. I'm really sorry. So on this note, I'm very happy to share with you a very exciting news about our villas. Indeed, when booking a villa, the guests will now have included a Tuscan hamper of welcome grocery, as well with a selection of estate wines on arrival, breakfast delivered each morning to our villas or prepared by one of our team members, and as well lunch or dinner each day. The choice will be the client wants at one of our restaurants or as well in a villa dining. Let me also mention that our villas will still feature the Mama in Villa service, which means a housekeeping attendant at disposal during the entire day. So as you might have understood, food and wine are really key elements of the life of Castiglion del Bosco, which we celebrate in our 2 restaurants. The more traditional Osteria alla Canonica, where guests can enjoy typical Tuscan food, as the pecorino di Pienza or cold cuts, or pici pasta with wild boar sauce, truffle pizza, and as well our gourmet restaurant, Campo del Drago, where our executive chef, Matteo Temperini, loves adding to the dishes fresh products from our organic kitchen garden. In the property, as my colleagues also mentioned, we highly value the world of well-being. And on top of our spa, where we use Santa Maria di Novella products from the renowned Florentine brand, as well as the premium skincare brand Evidence de Beauté, we offer many outdoor activities as hiking, biking, some boot camp lessons, or very special ones which are on an ad hoc basis, as for example the forest bathing and yoga retreat to enhance health, harmony, and self-discovery, which are key to the life of the property. Finally, there is really a lot to do for couples, multi-generational families, traveling with children, or as well a group of friends, from pasta or pizza cooking classes to truffle hunting, which is very famous in the region. And actually our soil here, which is called Crete Senesi, is one of the countries most favorable to the growth of both black and white truffle, especially in the fall, like in October, in months like October or November. Wine and tastings, very important in our CDB winery, where really the most fun and professional experts can make the guests learn about the Brunello di Montalcino. Or obviously guests can play golf in our 19 holes private golf course. Do not forget that it's not here, but do not forget that on the 2nd of July and the 15th of August every year, the city of Siena welcomes the Palio, which is the oldest horse ride in the world, a real one-in-a-lifetime experience, where we are able to give luxury access to the clients with a dedicated luxury experience that we have built around it. And just to conclude, I want to tell you that CDB can be part of a larger itinerary around Italy, or can be chosen as the basis to learn about this very special Italian region. And I really look forward to welcoming your guests here. So now I will pass the word back to lovely Berta, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, Brad, and Claudia for your detailed presentations today. I think everyone, at least on our call today, transported to your wonderful locations for a second, at least. So we have now some time for questions and answers, and my colleague Katie will take it from here.
Hi, everyone. We do have a few questions that came in. I'll start off with Hotel Georgia. One of the questions is, how far is skiing from the hotel?
Great question. Thank you very much. And there's a number of options for skiing within the immediate area, probably about 25 to 30 minutes at Grouse Mountain and Cypress. Those are the two closest locations for skiing. And for those that are a little bit more adventurous and have a little bit more time, Whistler, BC is about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from the downtown area, and also has great skiing and powder as well.
Great, thank you, Paul. And another question, do you offer any romance packages or amenities for honeymoon guests?
As a matter of fact, we do. So we also have on the website a roses and champagne amenities to be delivered up to the guest rooms, breakfast options, and early requests for check-in, and of course late checkouts are prioritized for those reservations.
Okay, great. Moving on to Little Dix Bay, one question was, could you please explain the access to one bedroom pool suites? Is it stairs? Is it elevators? How would you access that, Brad?
To the one bedroom pool suites, there are so there's no elevators on the property. So the one bedroom pool suites, there's stairs either going down or going up. It's hard to explain actually, but they're slightly elevated a little bit, but very simple. There's only maybe sort of half a dozen stairs, so it's accessible for everyone. Or actually on some of them you actually can go from the front along the path, so you can do that as well.
Great, thank you. And another question, do you have a kids program at Little Dix Bay?
Yeah, we're just in the process of launching it. So we have the Rosewood Explorers, which I was actually meeting with our director of rooms yesterday just to finalize the programming and so on. So we're looking to be hopefully launching that very shortly. And we have some new associates joining us in the next couple of weeks to launch that. So we have a beautiful club that is can be for children from about 3 years up until sort of early teenagers. We actually have a wonderful big Wendy house in there. We will be doing a small little petting zoo that we're just working on. And there's also a teenage room with game consoles, pool table, and then we'll be doing a really nice educational program for all the children to understand the reef restoration and the sustainability of the resort and so forth.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brad. Moving on to Castiglion del Bosco. Claudia, you mentioned being able to pair Tuscany with other parts of Italy. How far is Florence, and how would you create that itinerary alongside Tuscany?
Ideal, from our experience, I've seen many guests coming maybe from, even from regions like Liguria, so Portofino, driving down to Florence, spending maybe a couple of nights in the city to also learn a little bit about the cultural aspects that a city like Florence has to offer. And then in about an hour and a half, you can enjoy the Tuscan countryside and maybe then drive back to Rome and really continue the journey around Italy. So I think we are in a very strategic position, also very close to the seaside, which is about 2 hours drive from the coast. So it's the perfect setting for both city breaks to be where you can add a little bit of the countryside or for summer vacations.
Great, thank you. And another question, how would the renovations affect stays leading up to July 1st?
At the moment, the majority of the work has been done. So we are going to look at furnishing the place. So actually the stay of the guests, it's not affected. We are just very excited to see this coming all into place. And we already have some very beautiful events confirmed in the new suites. So it's exciting and it's fitting very nicely in.
Okay, great, thank you. Since we're very cautious of everyone's time, there's a lot of great questions and we thank you for your engagement. We will take some of these questions offline after the webinar. They will be sent directly to the property and they will reach out with some of the answers to all of your questions. I know some of you have asked whether or not this webinar is being recorded. It currently is being recorded, and we will be sending out a communication after this with a link to the recording for you to share with your colleagues or with clients. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Berta to close out the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. In addition, I'd like to let everyone know we will continue to do a series of webinars to continue discovering Rosewood. So please stay tuned as we announce those for an opportunity to continue learning about our wonderful brand. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today, and please enjoy the rest of your day.